What's up? Welcome back to Somewhere Near the Worm. And I just had a crazy couple weeks. I think the last video I shot, I don't even know when it was, a couple weeks ago. I finished the video, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, propped myself up on my elbows, and almost fell out of bed. Almost fell off the bunk. I was so dizzy. It was crazy. I got like vertigo. I've never had anything like it. Of course, the first thing I thought was, well, that's it. Got a brain tumor. I guess I'm done for. But it was like, I couldn't stand up. Things were spinning so hard, and whoa, check this out. Everything, it warmed up a whole bunch when I left here. I had to go to the doctor. Wow, look at that. Coming right up out of the ground. Yeah, it warmed up and everything thawed out while I was gone, I think. Just in the river. And then we had an ice storm the last 2 days. So I don't think there was any, probably not any snow out here when while I was gone. Yeah, but it was crazy. Fairly scary to be out here alone, and you can't stand up, can't move around or anything. So got a doctor's appointment, left here, took, I mean, I'm still not all better. Like in the mornings, my head just freaking spins around. It's like the worst spins you ever had times a large number. It's freaky. Left the four-wheeler out here, didn't know how long I was gonna be gone, so took all my stuff to the car, drove it back up to the worm, and left it there. So just hiking in to find it. Thought I'd bring the camera just in case I found anything crazy. I don't know, that was a few hours from here. I think the whole state of Michigan got this big weird ice storm, so I thought it'd probably be even worse up here, but it didn't look too bad. It's like 32 degrees right now, so maybe most of the ice is falling off the trees. Yeah, you can see there's just a tiny bit left on them. Real mushy snow, good packing snow. Wow, it is really pretty out here. I say that like it's not always really pretty out here. It is. I don't really know what we're doing the next couple days. It'll probably take me the rest of the day just to get all my tools and clothes and food and everything back out here. Whoa, scared me, a couple deer. But hey, we'll get back to something fun pretty soon. See what kind of tracks. I guess these tracks are only a day old, and a lot of the animals are probably hiding out. Usually if I leave here for, you know, a week or something, come back, this is just, there's no untouched snow. I always check this spot right here because I got a lot of trail cameras out here spread about, but it's always fun to match the videos up or pictures up with the tracks. And most importantly, no bears got in. I expect to see that every time I come here, that a bear tore through the wall of this to get at my food bins or something. Pretty well untouched. Well, grab the four-wheeler, ferry my stuff up here, a couple loads probably, and find something fun to do tomorrow. I think I got an idea. Something I want to build. Maybe it's like a day project. You guys already know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's like a creepy advantage you guys have, being able to look at the title and the picture before I even know. Oh no. I'm gonna have to do some shoveling to get in here, or some ice picking or something. The ground's frozen underneath there. This is what they call spring, right? Frozen. I might not be getting in here today. Crap. All right, well. Yep, looks good. Oh man, I do sleep so much better in a tent. so much better. It's still nice. I got up this morning and I didn't sleep in there, but it was really nice to make my coffee inside for some reason. I don't know. It was just snowing a little bit, but on mornings it's really coming down. Like I can't even get up and do that. I just have to wait until the rain or the snow stops. I don't even think I have any rain clothes out here. But yeah, man, I like sleeping in a tent a lot better. It was fun to be in there. I think I probably spent a total of somewhere between a week and 2 weeks just staying in there and sleeping in there and everything. It was fun just because it was different, but I think part of it, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but when you sleep in a tent, you can hear everything around you. And when you get used to that, especially being out in the woods like this, you think you hear things in the cabin. Like, is there something? Is there a bear right outside the door? Is there a raccoon getting into my food or whatever? And you can't really tell. So, like several times I got up and I'm looking out the window with the flashlight and whatever when I stayed in there. And anyway, tent's better. Tent is a much more fun, cozy place to sleep. So I think I'll keep that up. Took me a while, but I got this door open last night. Had to pry it up with a shovel and just got it to swing that far open, and now it won't move. It's frozen in place, but at least I can get in and out of there. Look at that ice. I think it's in the low 20s right now, so whatever, I can fit in, get my chainsaws and such. Got a couple pretty decent days here before it rains. Oh, by the way, this video I'm shooting right now, you'll probably never get it. Well, I guess if you're seeing it, you got it somehow. I don't have my computer cord. I think I left it at my girlfriend's, so I'm sure I missed at least 1 week of uploading videos, which would be like, I guess that's, I don't know when that is, but I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe I'll just shoot these videos and keep them on a memory card, and then maybe someday when I'm old and I live in a condo with a mean wife and 13 kids and 11 dogs, and I have to go back to work in a cubicle to pay for all that, that's when I'll upload these. So, you know, keep an eye out for it. Okay, enough of my problems. You know, let's talk about yours. What you got going on? All right, I did a couple rounds of shooting. It's a great way to get the day going. So I need a footstool in here, or like a little step stool. You guys saw recently I built all these shelves in here. I can't quite reach that stuff on the top, so I'm just gonna make a little I don't know, 1 foot by 1 foot or something thing to step on. And I still have a bunch of 1 by 1.5 inch scraps. I'm gonna see how many I have. I'm gonna try to butcher block them together. And then I just happened to see this picture a couple days ago that I thought was really cool. It's like this table that floats, hanging on chains, although, yeah, it looks really bizarre. I actually don't know how to build it exactly, but I figured I could use these to connect the chains together between the top and the bottom, and then I'm sure they need to be adjusted, so I got extra long so I could screw it in or out. I don't really know how it goes. Something like that. And then I think you get a couple on the other corners or something. It's basically like a base here with an arm that comes up and over, and then you have another one of those identical to those that's upside down, and you put a chain in between, so basically the top one's hanging on the bottom one, and then you just need something. It looked to me like you just needed 2 more chains to stabilize it, so it is actually, the top is hanging on the bottom. I don't know why I just found that so hard to explain. It is a weird thing. That's why I saw it and I was like, oh, it looks pretty cool. I assume it rocks around. I don't really know, but anyway, I thought I'd make this butcher block just to use up the scraps I got out here. If I even have enough, we'll see. If it actually turns out all right, then I'll just keep it as a little table in here. I'll put it somewhere and I'll make another step stool. I'm guessing I'm gonna make it so crudely and I don't really understand how it works. I could have looked at more pictures or read up on it. It's probably like something that's sweeping the internet, but you know, like always, I don't want to look it up. I just want to see if I can figure it out. So if it comes out great, it's not going to come out great, I'll keep it. If it comes out so-so, like I actually get it to work, but it just looks horrible, I'll rip the top off, make a step stool. And provided it's the kind of thing that's really looks as weird as I think it will, I'll probably make another one, like a really big one. And maybe I'll put it out in the gazebo. I need a table in there. It'd be cool to make like, I don't know, 3 feet by 3 feet, use some really heavy chain. It was one picture I saw, and I don't know, like, I was like, oh, it looks like a really fun thing to build. But can you put anything on it? Does it move around? If you bump it, does it fall over? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go see what kind of scraps we got in the scrap pile. Ran out of books to listen to and podcasts, so I'm listening to a book on, I think it's called Keep Sharp or something like that. It's like how to keep your brain sharp as you get older. So if you notice that I get incredibly intelligent and, you know, witty, and I mean, it'd probably make me better looking too. But if all that happens like in the next episode or two, it's the book. I just turned the heat on in there. Don't usually do that in the middle of the day just because it burns through propane. But if I do this butcher block table, I think I don't even know if I have good wood glue out here. It's this stuff that's left over. I probably use Gorilla Glue and glue it together. This stuff was milled right out of the tree green, so it's still got a pretty high water content. And I'm not really sure, it's frozen too, or nearly frozen, so I'm not sure if it'll glue together all right, just the way it is. I'm guessing I'll have to glue it, clamp it, and then put it in there by the heater for a little bit. I have been using a lot of this for like shelves and all sorts of weird stuff, but I know when I finished doing the battens, there were tons of these left over. Hope I didn't burn all the small ones. Oh yeah, I actually didn't burn anything yet. There might be a ton of it in that pile covered in snow and ice. Oh, maybe I should just take a nap. Now that I say it out loud, I'm not really sure that's not the best idea. It might be the best idea. Whew. Don't you love it when a plan doesn't come together? That's all I could find. This is why you never plan anything, ever. If anything, you give the project a title like chair, table, house, and then you just start going at it. I planned this out too much. I decided what kind of tabletop I wanted, and it already didn't work out. I swear there were a ton. I got enough for about a 6-inch table. That's it. See if I can find some other scraps to cut up. These aren't really good for anything. Probably aren't good for much. Whoa, super warped. Well, we'll make it work. Well, that ought to be enough. I guess we'll just make it the length of whatever the short one's here. Well, maybe not that short. I guess we'll make it that long. Sun just came out and it started raining ice chunks. Can it rain ice? I don't see any reason why not. God, the world is weird, isn't it? I'm gonna rip these down. I think I don't know, I like to use the chainsaw whenever possible, mostly because it's not easy for me to recharge my power tool batteries. At a certain temperature, you just can't recharge them at all. Today might be warm enough that I could run the generator, but then you run a generator all day just to charge a couple batteries. Doesn't make it worth it. So I generally use the chainsaw. However, if I rip these with a chainsaw, then I have to use the battery powered planer, which uses almost as many batteries as the circular saw. So it's not really that many to rip. I guess I'll just use the circular saw. Chainsaws really are a lot more fun. Well, that's all I got pulled out, so see if it's enough. Because it doesn't really matter what size this is. If I end up making it a step stool, I'll just cut this thing down, or cut it in half, or cut it in quarters or something. That should be good. Pretty raggedy and uneven, so at least the side that's going to get glued. There's some big chunks on some of them because I milled them with the chainsaw, milled all these boards, so some of the spots where you start and stop milling can have big chunks. There you can kind of see there, I don't know if it shows up, but I don't know what I was doing. Stopped milling and then got myself some Skittles and then picked up again. So I'll just run the planer over all these really quick. Yeah, some of these aren't, oh, it's because there's ice on a bunch of them. That's why they're so uneven. Well, that and poor craftsmanship. Alright, well, I don't know where to glue this together. I have nothing flat out here. This is the flattest, but some of these boards are more than an eighth tweaked up or down, so I don't know. I guess I just do that, and if the thing's a little warped, I'll just have to do a lot of planing and grinding and everything. I don't know what to put on the table, so I don't glue it to the table. Ice bags. These things are good for so much stuff. Schlagen. Guess I should have put this by the heater a while ago. You're not supposed to put it on the last one. I'll just double it up, eh? I got 2 clamps, hopefully that's enough. Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be twisted. Need a nice flat, maybe if I had a pool table out here, that would be nice and flat to do this on. All right, let it dry. Really doesn't take very long when it's warm out. I don't know what it'll be now. Probably take the night. Well, it's just one of those days, I guess. There was all sorts of animal activity last night. At some point, there was either a big animal or just a really clumsy drunk deer just plowing through all the brush and down trees. It was like a crashing. I thought a tree came down, but it just kept going. And I don't know, after a while, you don't really care. You think, oh, I wonder what that is, and then you go right back to sleep. I think I might have been dreaming that it was pouring rain or snowing or something, and I got up because the only thing left outside was the table, and I went out there and grabbed it. By the time I had it and I was carrying it in here, I realized it wasn't snowing or raining at all, but it's a good thing I brought it in. It's kind of a gross day. I thought it was going to be nice today, but who cares? I actually got 2 really nice naps so far, read a quarter of a book, and just kind of farted around. I just came back in here and turned the heater on in the hopes that the sleet stops. I got a couple batteries warming back there. I just got this thing back out. It seems to be working pretty nicely to leave it right there. As you know, whenever I turn that thing on, it just gives a little bit of heat. It's kept it from freezing for a couple days, so that's nice. Those, if I'm gonna run the planer a whole bunch, you gotta have those batteries warmed up a little bit. Even if it's like 30 degrees, they still don't run that long. So I don't know how this table's gonna work. this will be the top. It's certainly flatter than the other side. There's some spots where the lumber's sticking up a little bit there. That was, I think mostly that was the unevenness in the table, because it'll be like flat and then drop down. I think that's where it went onto another board, but it's supposed to all foam like that, and it really does a nice job of filling in the cracks. I only had like a third of a thing of Gorilla Glue, so I didn't put it on too thick, which is not good. I wish all this, the seams should all look like that, be a little bit foamy, and they're not. Who knows? It'll either hold together or it won't. So I think what I might do is when I trim these edges off, I might put a border at least on the two sides, and that might help stiffen it up a little bit. If it falls apart, I'm cool with that too. I'll just build another one, probably build another one anyway. So if the sleety snow would stop, we could get back to doing this. If not, I'll just go back to my book. I guess that's okay too. It's kind of handy having this place. You know, to come in here during the day, I can actually eat in here, which is, it's pretty sweet. I don't like to eat in my tent because I don't want any food smells in there, just because of the animals. You know, you don't want to attract anything in there. More than anything, it's the mice. You know, you leave a food crumb in the corner of the tent, you'll go there the next day and there'll be a hole through your tent. They try to get in and get it, but at least I can come in here, hang out, do a little bit of stuff. I might flip the bunk down, and I've got an extra thermarest in there, so I can sit there and read. It's like 32 degrees right now, and it still doesn't get quite warm enough. Like, it wouldn't be 70 in here. It might get to like 60. So it's not like I flip that down then just sit in my jeans and t-shirt or anything, but you know, keep a jacket on. It's pretty nice. You can at least get your fingers out to turn the pages of the book. Hopefully this will end soon. The radar doesn't look like it. Whatever, find something to do. Woo-wee. Well, yesterday was basically toast. It's kind of nice to chill out, although I haven't really done that much hard work to make it worth it. It's nice to be forced to have a day off after you're really beat down, but when you're just fat and lazy like me, you don't really need it. Turn the heater on again. I've baked this for probably, I don't know, at least 10 hours or something, and I've got a couple of nice warm batteries, so let's go out and see if we can plane this thing down. This is a nice thing too about having this stove in here. At the end of the day, I can dry my gloves out. That is fancy. Look into my eyes. Can you tell that behind those eyes is a lot of brain power? This book is really doing it. Actually, all this book is telling me is that I shouldn't eat a sleeve of graham crackers every morning for breakfast. Apparently, sugary diet can may possibly have something to do with Alzheimer's. That's what I'm finding out. So, yeah, I really like those graham crackers, though. Still frozen in place pretty nicely. Well, I hope I can do this with just 2 batteries, or maybe I'll have to pause and warm another one up. We'll see how far they go. That's wow, that was surprisingly easy. It is pancake flat. Nice. Well, I'll just knock this side down and then we'll get to the fun part. You know, I was just thinking there are some cracks in here between the boards that I glued together, and it'd be kind of cool to do a resin top on this. Unfortunately, I don't have any resin here, and I don't know how long it would take to set up when it's this cold and 100% humidity, but Maybe I won't do anything to finish the top now, and I'll do that at the very end. Let's see, we need a base, and then I guess I can make the, whatever you call them, the brackety things out of pine, or I'll see if I got any scraps. Always use scraps. Oh, I found the base. This was such a cool piece of pine. It's got like spalting in the sapwood. I'll plane this off. You can see how cool it is. This is just so beautiful that I set it aside. It's all grayed now, but you can see the heartwood was like a nice orange, and then the sapwood was like this spalted green color. It's really amazing looking. So I don't know what size base I need. I guess I'll just use this, cut it squarish, and you know, just cut the ends off, and I guess that'll do it. Oh, it's so wet and icy. I don't know if I'll be able to see that. Probably wait to plane this off, but I really want to see it. We could plane it again later. Well, battery down. Oh, it's so cool looking. Isn't that pretty? Just a chunk of pine right out of the tree like that. It's gorgeous. That'll be a great base. Maybe make it that tall? Like that? I don't know. It seems like it could even be a little bit taller for, well, let's think here. I guess I make the support arms on here longer than I think I need to. You could still loosen the chain up a lot, or I can cut the arms off if it ends up being too tall. I don't know if this is going to be like super wobbly. I just truly have no idea what this is going to be like. We'll just do it like that. And we'll guess 14. Oh my gosh, it's so wet. I guess you wouldn't generally call this furniture grade wood. This is more fire grade. But it's what we got at hand and it's free, so why not? It's amazing there's good wood in the middle of all that garbage. Not bad. I'll leave it like that because it'll probably get dirty again and I'll have to plane it before I finish it. Whew, that is a nasty one. I think there's enough good wood in there to get a couple small pieces out of. Might have to take this apart, dry it, and glue it. But not right now. Does anybody want to take a bet as to whether this thing will work at all? I'm using my batteries in the planer and the saw until they're dead, and then put them in the drill, and you can usually get another couple minutes out of them. It's slow and it sounds funny, but it works. Could have done the same thing and just put this, screwed it through the top into this, still don't know what we call these things, this support, but I didn't want to put screws through the top for whatever reason, just wouldn't look as nice, so I'm just putting a little brace on here, and then I can screw this way into the top and not pop all the way through. Think that'll work? I don't know. Haha, almost dead. Yep. Oh. Yep. Alright, so the top of the table sits on here. This goes like that, and then a chain goes in between those two, so the table's actually sitting on that chain. Then I gather from, let's see, try to tip this way. So I think from this corner of the table, these two corners, it goes down to here, 2 chains as well, and that keeps it from rotating. So I'm thinking it's still going to move around some. This is the brace that goes on the bottom of the tabletop. So the table sits there. I trimmed it down because it had a big rotten spot right there. And just for the heck of it. So let's see, the bolts and chain is going to go through here. Maybe I'll just taper that down too. You won't be able to see that one too well because that's up underneath the tabletop. But this one, hanging down there, you should see. So yeah, I'll just taper those a little bit. This is like the perfect project for me. I like for a change that it's just like a 1 or 2 day thing. I don't need a table. I don't know if I can actually build it. And if I do build it, I'm not even sure the table will work as a table. It's perfect. It's just for doing the thing, you know? Try it out, have some fun. Throw it in the campfire if you need to. I think that looks better. Oh, I love using firewood. Yeehaw! Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. Just gonna take some messing around to make this thing work. I was thinking instead of putting these all the way through, I could just do a screw-in eyelet in the bottom of it. I think it'd be plenty strong, but you have to be able to, I'm guessing, you have to be able to adjust it up and down because you got 3 chains to even out so the tabletop is even. Or at least that's what my brain's saying, but, you know, I haven't finished my brain book yet. Well, let's just drill some holes and see what happens. Oh, I got some nice short pieces. Ooh, I wonder if those would be enough. Those are nice, pretty new chains. I was thinking about using this rusty old chunk and cutting it up. I guess it's the same stuff, kind of. Throw a short piece in there and see what happens. I'm waiting to put the tabletop on this until I can sort of figure out how this thing works. And all I have are these little crappy S hooks. Couldn't find anything else around here, so... Oh wow, that's plenty long. Looks good to me. Does that look good to you? It's good enough to put a piping hot cup of coffee on there and sit naked underneath it, right? Wow, so weird. Man, that doesn't seem like it's gonna work. I mean, supposed to be a chain here and there just on those corners to keep it from doing this. But if you pushed on that corner, interesting. Maybe it needs 4 chains. This is getting complicated. What a dumb idea. Well, I dug through all my usual places. Couldn't really find what I was looking for. I was trying to find some eyelets like that aren't quite as long. These are a little too short and small. So I only have so many of these, but if I just put the adjusters on one side, like just on the base, I could use these on the top and it would still let me slide it up and down. Now would be a great time to give me a hand. Nothing, as usual. Just gonna see if I can temporarily hang these on there. Oh, and there's a mosquito. What the heck? Whoa. Now I can kind of see how if you're only going to use 3 chains, you couldn't put this right in the dead center. I mean, it makes sense now that I see it. That does look so bizarre. I just use one piece for the whole thing and then I'll cut it, but I don't know if that looks weird to you, but it definitely looks weird to me. That is really cool. Completely unusable. Whoa! Woo! Completely unusable like that, but I like it. I'm going to put the other 2 adjustable eyelets in those corners and then string it up, see what we can get. Now, if my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, that's different. Should be able to set something heavy on that side. I love it, and it's completely useless. So here's a mind bender. I'm thinking if I tighten or loosen some of these, it'll use less chain, and then maybe I'll have enough to do all 4 corners. So I'm like, well, I'll just loosen these out, and then you think about it, and if you screw that out this way, that section stays exactly the same, but this drops down, which brings that closer to that, which will actually still work. It's not quite touching right there, it just happened to be exactly the right length. So I think even if I move this nut, I think that would stay in exactly the same place, like that gap there. Because let's see, this gets longer, this moves down, this gets shorter, and that comes down. Yeah. But if I did drop the whole thing down, then I'd use less chain links here. I just have to keep some kind of space there ultimately, so maybe I could save 1 more chain link on each of those. This all of a sudden got really fun. I love stuff like this. You know, almost everything I do out of here is like, oh, you make it shorter, just cut a chunk off. And this is fun because it plays with your skull a little bit. Just tickles a little inside, you know? Just right. Oh, that's why I keep the helmet on. So when it tickles, I don't go digging in there. Alright, I'm going to run out of daylight, so at least tonight, I'm going to rip a couple more 1x1.5s and glue them on here, so at least that can dry tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow I can put it all together. Well, I used a lot that time. I used up all the rest of the glue, so being that these are end grains, I could probably use it. Let this dry for the night and see what happens tomorrow. Alright, I found the missing toolbox full of hardware, so now I've got chains and hooks for all of this. Looks like it glued up nicely, those ends, so plane those down a little bit and see if we can hang this thing up. Kind of excited to get all 5 chains on there and see what it looks like. Not gonna worry too much about the bottom here, but on the top I left these a little bit proud, so I'll plane them a little bit, and then I'm gonna probably not finish this till this summer. I'll let it dry out for, I don't know, some of the warm months anyway, before I get to sanding. Or more than likely, since this will be done today, I'll just never get around to sanding it and finishing it because I don't like sanding. Wow, yeah, it's gonna take some adjustment. It's a funny thing as well, as you're trying to adjust these, like I want to put one more link in the middle here, or I want to move that around a little bit, so you think, well, I'll just tip it a certain way and take pressure off it and then move that one, but it's so counterintuitive that that's holding the whole thing up. You move one, it moves another. I think I'm gonna have to start cutting some of these bolts. I don't think it's gonna go together any other way. Looks pretty close. Chop those chains and try putting them on the other side to see if we can make this usable. It's amazing how touchy this thing is. I don't mean like the balance, but to adjust it. You see right there, it's tipped to the left a little bit. It's going like this, so it doesn't line up quite straight there. And you come down and it's only like, I mean, it's a matter of like one set of threads on a bolt to move it over that much. The other thing that's funny is I went to put these on without thinking about it, and of course you can't quite hook them on there because it has to come down a little bit to go into that hook. So I'm going to try to get these all adjusted exactly evenly, the height of them here, and then I have to use a wrench on the bottom of this one, loosen it so I can hook these on, and then hopefully tighten this back up and it'll tension the whole thing. It's really a swell brain bender. I'm really enjoying this. The wobble is just because their bolts are sticking out the bottom of this, but look at that. The pain is, if one of these is a little bit longer than the other, I have to take it all back apart just to tighten the nut a tiny bit because they're on the bottom of this and I don't have a socket that'll go. I countersunk them up into the base and there's not a socket that I can get, whatever. So it's pretty darn close. I think I got one a little bit floppy here, needs to be tightened. Well, what does your brain say? Can I flip this thing over? Just leave it together? Seems like you could. Should work. Should be able to move it all as one piece now, right? Well, look at that. I think that's pretty stellar. I think it would have been cool if it worked with just the 3 chains, but like it might have stayed there. I don't know how useful it would have been, because if you bump this, the whole thing was going to swing around a lot. But as it is now, I think it's usable actually. So if you happen to suffer a little brain damage and want to make a partially usable table like this, the only thing I would do differently is if you wanted to make it hang from 3 chains, you just have to change the length of this out here and this shorter, and or make the tabletop hang off one side just so it has that counterweight to it. I still think if you were going to try to use it for anything at all, you probably want all 4 of those chains on it. Oh, you know what? I just thought of where I saw the picture of this. It was on the hydraulic press channel. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's great. It's a guy in Finland. He just, I mean, it's a little more to it than this, but he basically just crushes stuff with the hydraulic press, like all sorts of different stuff. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description. Maybe I can find this exact video that I saw this table, and it was made out of metal. It's supposed to pour rain tomorrow, so if I find some place to put this, I guess I'm just gonna go dump it off in the gazebo. That gazebo is really come in handy, even though I haven't gotten to use it much for its intended purpose. I mean, until, what, a few months ago, all I had was a tent and a tarp over there. The lean-to is just a tarp to store stuff, so that gazebo, like, just completely changed things. Otherwise, before that, I would just have to put this on the ground, you know, maybe put a scrap of firewood underneath it and throw a tarp over it. That's it. So let's go throw this down there, eh? Maybe in a future video this summer I'll throw in finishing this thing. I probably won't include the sanding because nobody likes sand. I assume nobody likes sanding. I hate sanding. But it will be cool to see the color come out, especially on that base once I get a clear coat on it. Well, a bungee didn't really make too much difference. I forgot. I was just down here the other day. I was going to put some chairs that my mom inherited to me inside here, and the door wouldn't open because of the ice. I have to go grab a shovel. Real tight tolerances with the stuff I build, you know? Real tight. This is definitely the nicest structure I've built out here so far. If anybody's new to the channel, there's a whole, if you want to see this, this is built I built this last year, I guess. I made the frame 2 years ago, 2 summers ago. It's just from trees I felled here. It's a log frame underneath here. Chainsaw milled floor on it. And then these bowed trees I collected from the property. Chainsaw milled up a pine and some aspen for the roofing. Anyway, it's all made with the chainsaw. You can go to the channel page, Surviving Ringworm, and find I think I have this as a playlist just from building this, like 8 or 9 videos or something like that. I really can't wait to get a chance to actually use this thing for what I built it for, which is be able to be out here in the summer, not getting killed by bugs when it's really hot and I've got no place to go. I mean, you can't stay in a tent when it's roasting hot during the day. So I finally broke down and spent, I don't know, I think it took me a few months to build this thing, but soon I'm going to get a chance to actually use it for something other than storage. I was thinking it might be cool right there. See how the height is? Oh, it's perfect. It's almost like I measured, except I would never do that. Pretty good place to sit on a hot summer day. I haven't really gotten a chance to use that. That's the solar panel frame that I made. Soon enough. Yeah, that'll be great out here. I mean, as long as we don't put any Mai Tais. Any real tall, skinny, overfilled glasses on it, it should be fantastic. I love projects like that where I can just basically use firewood to make something fun. Especially when the thing I'm building I don't really need. It's just a goofy thing to do with a couple days. I mean, what better way to spend a couple days of your life than be out in the woods alone, building bizarre stuff that has no purpose. It's fantastic. Next week's video, perhaps. I was thinking about doing something a little different, and this is now the beginning of the 3rd year living out here in a tent, and might be some changes. I am going to stay out here. Things just might be a little different for the next year, and if so, then I'm going to need to do some planning. So I don't know, maybe I'll talk about that next week and tell you what's on my mind. You're not going to recognize me if I start telling you about plans for the next 6 or 8 or 10 months, because I don't do plans. Not out here anyway. Anyway, come back. Love to see you next week. Thanks for watching. And by the way, when I say different, things are going to be different this year, I mean better, a lot more funner. So don't worry so much, all right? Just calm down.